Welcome to Sacred Success, the alchemy of spiritual business, where Michelle Barr talks to conscious entrepreneurs and spiritual seekers about creating a better life and a better business now. Building your own business is the most intensive personal and spiritual growth and development course you could ever enroll in. And that's why Michelle does the work she does for you. We're glad you're here with Michelle Barr on the OMTimes Radio Network.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. This is Michelle Barr on OMTimes Radio Network with Sacred Business Success, the alchemy of conscious business. I am your sacred business success coach, intuitive strategist, and mindset mentor. I'm really glad to be back with you this week. Last week, you had a replay of one of my shows, and I've got a lot of stories to share with you that are really going to make you think about some things on your own conscious business journey that you're taking right now. Really glad to talk about our topic today. We turn in our topics and create our topics ahead of time, several weeks up to a month ahead of time. But like all things synchronistically and serendipitously, this is a great topic today. Today, we are going to talk about why am I creating what I don't want? And I'm very excited because everything that I've been doing the past 2 weeks that I'm going to share with you is really going to roll into this, and we're going to talk about it. So when you think about that question, when you get to that place of asking yourself, why am I creating what I don't want? For a lot of years, I asked myself, why can't I have what I want? Why can't I do what I want? Why can't I be what I want? When I first started my business, I had a local business and I had a dream, and it was a really big dream that had been inside of me for quite a few years. And there was a time that I think of now when I was stuck in jobs I didn't love, doing work I didn't like, with people I didn't want to be around. And it was making me sick, and it was making me tired and exhausted. And I felt really disconnected from myself, from source, from spirit. I wasn't living on purpose, and I was trying to jam those most important things in on the side and in little pieces. And at the same time, I was a mother, I was a wife, I was working, I was doing volunteer work, just all those things we do where we get into that busyness of our life. And I had this dream that I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to be on purpose, and I wanted to start doing what I'm made to do. There are a lot of things that I can do, and I kept falling into jobs where I would do what I can do, but not what I'm made to do. And that was calling to me. And I know you can understand that because people who show up in my world, in my community, and in my tribe are really motivated by that nudging and that calling, that living on purpose and that being on purpose. And that dream started getting bigger and bigger. And I kept thinking, what if, what if I went after that dream? What if I took all the pieces of me and I was able to be who I am, show up who I am in the world, in my life and in my work? And I thought I was dreaming really, really big because it felt like, I don't know if I could even do this. I don't know if I even dare to do this. I don't know if I'd be able to do this. And I kept putting it off for some day. My dream in my mind was really to have a local private practice, a local center of some kind, a gathering place in my community. And I moved to a community where they had this great historic downtown square. I moved to a new place, and I really wanted to connect with community, and I wanted to connect with spiritual community, which I start looking for whenever I move to new places. Now, if this has ever happened to you where you start looking for something that you really want or really need, and then you start this dialogue in your head or with other people. Why don't they have this? Why can't I find this? Somebody should start something like this because I want and need it. I want you to be really aware when you catch yourself with dialogue like that. A lot of times, that somebody that should start it is you. And that is exactly what happened to me. And now I have clients all the time start telling me about what they wish they could find, what they wish they had, what they wish somebody ought to be doing this, or somebody ought to build this or create this. And I suggest it's them. And once they do it, they're very blessed. But at first, they get this startled look in their eyes and they're thinking, what? Who, me? And that's kind of how I felt. But I realized I'm being called to do this. So why not now? I had just gone back into work again, thinking this time I'll find work that I love and work that's fulfilling. And it wasn't. And I was out of there pretty quickly. And it had never been more clear to me that it was time to do this thing. There was this historic downtown square. I found this little house. Everything fell into my lap once I committed, once I made the decision. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this. Now, here's a big piece that always happens. I always talk about the universal guiding principles, and one of those is leave the hows to the universe. And that's what I did. Then I wasn't as good at it, but the more I learned to leave the house to the universe, this little house fell in my lap, people started showing up, and before I knew it, I was on my way to creating this dream. Now, if any of you have known my story, you're following me, you listen to me, a big part of my story, which is how my current business was created, is when I first opened this dream, I didn't have a business head and I wasn't thinking about business. And a lot of you can relate to that because people in my world who show up in my community, who become my clients, and who follow me in my work, again, we're motivated by other things, purpose, meaning. We just want to do this thing we do. What happened was that first business, I ran it into the ground. It became a very expensive hobby and it created financial disaster for me and my family. And I had to shut the doors. And then there I was again, heartbroken. People had shown up from everywhere. People were loving it. It was a gathering place. And then all of a sudden, it was no more. And I was facing going home and sitting on my couch and not doing my work and trying to figure out what I was going to do. Instead, I got really open. I watched for opportunities to show up. I asked and asked and asked, and it was given. And a business coach crossed my path, and I hired my first business coach, and the rest is where I am today. I have not been without a business coach since then. That is why I am so passionate about this piece. And from there, I ended up building the business of my dreams. I built that business. And all of a sudden, this dream that had been way out there, unattainable, did I even dare to try it? I had the whole dream. And then here's something that happens a lot. Wow, now my dream is starting to get bigger because I got my dream and I realized this isn't all it is. This isn't all I want. I'm working a lot of hours serving people one to one in my local community. I'm not making enough money. I don't have resources, and I'm working myself too much. I'm not there for my family. I don't have time for myself. I don't have time to spend with my children and my husband. And this is not the dream, but a part of it was, and I loved it. And then my dream got bigger. And that's when I took my dream online. those walls started closing in, and I realized I'm called to reach more people. I had to listen to myself again. I'm called to expand my territory, expand my reach, get out there, leverage my work, serve more people, reach more people, speak and teach and write a book and do all of these things. And there I was again with this big dream. But this time I knew that if I chose it, it would be attainable because I had seen the path I had walked before and it got a little easier. It's that first big dream that you dare to dream, and then you will learn. You can do it, and that dream can come to you. One of the reasons that I tell that whole story also is because it really relates to why am I creating what I don't want? And I want to show you that once I figured out why I was creating what I didn't want, I ended up creating much more of what I do want. So that today, part of what I tell you and my potential clients and everyone who shows up in my community and shows up in my world is it starts with you and your vision. I learned to go from a life where I was living by default, where I had work, and then all the rest of my life, relationships, my time, my freedom, my energy, my resources, everything was dictated by the job I was doing. And my whole environment was shaped by whatever job that was and whatever they told me I had to do, all the way to a life that I am living, a life by design, where I create a vision of the life I want to live. Then I create a business that supports and sustains that life. There was a time when I was creating a lot of what I didn't want. I've always been able to create some of what I want, and now a lot of what I want. But now I really create more and more of what I want in the life I want. And we're going to talk more about this in just a minute. Stay with me. This is going to get really good today. I'm going to give you some things to think about. This is Michelle Barr, OMTimes Radio Network, and we will be right back. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millisers, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes.
Hello, welcome back. This is Michelle Barr with Sacred Business Success on OMTimes Radio Network. So excited to have you joining me today. I'm here every week every Thursday with my show at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can go to our radio network site and we have archives of all our shows. You can find all the hosts and all the shows, and you can get all of my past shows. You can download them, you can get them as podcasts on iTunes and catch up on all the great things we've been talking about. When I took my business from that little shop to a global online business, the first thing I did was put up a website. And the second thing I did was I put up a free report. And you've seen those a lot. If you go to my website right now, michellebarr.com or from callingtocash.com, you'll always see free gifts right there at the top on the right-hand side. Right now, I have a great video training for you. Are you ready to start a profitable, freedom-based business this year? I also have a free 7-day business building email course for intuitive women entrepreneurs. I'd love you to go to my site and get either or both of those and start doing some free training with me. So the first thing I put up was this free report. I was starting to figure out, why am I creating what I don't want? And that's kind of what started it all. And so I wanted to come back to that beginning because there are those of you showing up right now who are just still dreaming or thinking about. Others of you have started a business or you gave it up or it's not going so well and you're thinking, I'm going to have to give this up and go get a job. So I always talk about the real world action. You have to take real action to create results in your real physical world. So you have to take third dimensional action to create third dimensional results, which means we've got to get that dream and that vision out of your head and into the world. There's also always an energetic component, and that is what this is about. I really want you to go underneath to that energetic piece. When you shift your energy, you shift your life. And when I put this report up, that's what my business was. I was not a business coach at the time. I was a personal and spiritual growth and development coach. I was a healer. I was doing energy medicine. I was an energy medicine specialist. I was doing a lot of work with mental and emotional clutter getting in the way of us tuning into our inspiration and creating what we want. So I created this report and I really want to talk about it because no matter where you are and what's going on right now, this is a great place to come back to. I have since then created a successful business, a full-time, thriving global online business at this point. And yet I stop and come to this point. Why did I create that? I don't want that. So I invite you to explore this with me further. Why am I creating what I don't want? Think about it. That's a very different question than why am I not creating what I want? Because really, there's no not creating about it, right? You are the creator of your entire life, of your entire experience. Things don't happen to us, they happen through us. I'm intuitive and empathic, and I always have been. But for a very long time, I didn't have a conscious awareness of this. And because of that, I've always been able to create things I wanted. I also spent a lot of years creating a lot of what I didn't want as well. And that just doesn't happen to me as much anymore. Here's something you really want to get. Hear this and let it land. The universe doesn't listen to your words and obey them. The universe responds to your vibration, to what you are sending out through your thoughts, which create feelings. And it is your feelings that are magnetic and attract to you a match to what you are sending out. There's a lot of responsibility piece there, right? And I came from a world where I was even really conditioned that things just happened to me, and I was in a real victim mode. And why does this keep happening to me? And why can't I ever have this? And why do I always have this? And I created stories about it. So the universe had to keep delivering it because remember, whatever you say is. Those are your stories, and you're a powerful creator. You know, by now I teach everything in continuums. So there is this continuum of taking zero responsibility for what has shown up in your life and taking 100% responsibility. And it's not black and white, it's not either or. You're somewhere on that continuum at all times. And what I have found is once I broke those very bad patterns and habits of taking no responsibility for what was showing up in my life, I learned that every time I took more responsibility, I had more power. Now I'm trained to ask myself these powerful questions, to take 100% responsibility, to take honest inventory, because the payoff is so huge. Imagine this, you're sending out to the universe a strong desire for the love of your life. You want it. You know you want it. You are sending this desire out into the universe. Chances are, because you have such strong desire, you also have some resistance to your desire because of your attachment to it, your limiting beliefs, your bad habits, unhealthy patterns, and toxic emotions. As you're sending out to the universe your desire for the love of your life, you can feel it, you can see it. You've made your list about all the qualities you want it to show up with. You have to be aware of what else is going out in your request energetically. Things that might get into the mix could include, I've been hurt before, I'm afraid to get hurt again, or I think I'm ready to open my heart and my life to someone else, but I'm not sure I'm ready. Am I really ready? Unworthiness could be getting broadcast out in your request, along with not good enough, not enough, or fear, doubt, and guilt. The possibilities are endless, and most often we're unconscious of them, and yet they hold so much power in our creating. That's why this work can be uncomfortable at first. It can be difficult at first. It can be challenging. It can even be painful. But that stuff is already there. And when it's unconscious, it's driving your bus. When you bring it up to the conscious level and become consciously aware of it, it loses its power to control your life. You actually become empowered to take charge of your own life and to create more and more of what you want. Think about this too. Have you made room for your creation to show up? Really, really made room. The universe responds to a true vacuum and comes in to answer true need. For instance, when the little house fell into my lap that provided the space for my first business, the resources for that did not come in until I had signed the lease and made the commitment. And the more I stayed with it and followed through, the more what I needed showed up for me. During that first business, we even had some really tough financial things go on in our lives, and yet we were always taken care of. Somehow it always worked out. So I've learned to trust that more and more. The universe responds to a true vacuum and comes in to answer true need. If you are holding on to things and people that no longer serve you, waiting for this new creation of your dreams to show up, it won't. Let that land, because I've been there and done that. Holding on to things, saying, I'll let go of this once you bring me this. I'll stop being this once I can be this. Remember, We have to be the new thing and start doing what that is before we can have what we want. You have to create a vacuum. And again, it's inconvenient, it's uncomfortable, it's difficult, it's challenging, it can be painful, and yet that's the way it works. So what are you holding on to that no longer serves you and that is not going to be able to go with you where you're wanting to go? The person you want to be would not have that, would not be tolerating and putting up with that. These are the things get stirred up. This is what I talk about, your stuff coming up. And that's why it comes up, so you can let it go, so you can clear, heal, and resolve it and let it go, so that you can step into who you're saying you want to be and do what you want to do and have what you want to have. When it comes to creating, we operate on this continuum of conscious and unconscious creation. And at any given time, we can be creating from anywhere along that continuum. If you pictured yourself on this continuum with 0% to 100%, from unconscious creating to conscious creating, it's beneficial for you to increase your awareness of the energetic dynamic that's at play here. How much of the time are you creating unconsciously? How much of the time? Because this results in a lot of miscreating and a lot of what you don't want showing up in the process. It gets into the mix. Now, how much of the time are you consciously creating? I mean, showing up as a co-creative partner with the universe. This results in much more creating what you do want. This is a take honest inventory moment. You can start becoming aware of this. Remember, everything I teach you, when I first teach you, it's something you have to do. It's something you have to think about. It's something you have to make time for. But these things become a way of living and being. So when I'm telling you this particular thing that I'm inviting you to participate in, this is now a part of my regular process. Oh, wait, I don't see what I want here. So how much am I still unconsciously creating? And what can I consciously create? Because then I give you tools for consciously creating. Okay, I need to take the reins on this one. I need to create more consciously. So then we go to what? I set a powerful intention. I come up with inspired action steps that I'm willing to take. And I actually take action, and I ask and it is given, and I watch for opportunities to show up. Think about this and we'll be right back. I've got more great stuff.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jollish Hour. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back. This is Michelle Barr, your Sacred Business Success Coach. We're here on OMTimes Radio Network having a discussion about why am I creating what I don't want and how to be a more conscious creator and why you want to do that. I told you a few minutes ago, things don't happen to us, they happen through us. Things happen through us. Our perspective deeply colors our world. The way we are looking at something and our awareness of the governing principles that we choose to adopt as our reality heavily influence what shows up for us. That's why I'm always teaching whatever you say is. And I don't say that lightly, but from my own life and the lives of my clients, once they get this and I can help them see the stories they're telling and start telling new stories, their lives literally change as if you came in and wrote a whole new script and rearranged the movie set. It really works this way. A good tool or technique can shift the energy, which will create a shift, and it's often noticeable in your life. Yet, without the mindset to support this shift, you'll revert back to the energy you were previously holding. You will fall back into the familiar patterns that you're comfortable with. I really saw this when I had a business. First, a long time ago, I was a mental health therapist. I had a private practice. People came to me week after week. And as a mental health therapist, you're more trained to listen to people's stories and to really actively listen. But there wasn't the coaching piece. And this is a big piece why I shifted to becoming a coach and moved out of that work, because people would come for a year or more for long periods of time, and they would come every week, and they were stuck in these stories. And I worked in crisis and trauma. I worked with abuse. I worked with people with very traumatic childhoods. Addiction was involved, violence, all kinds of things that are very serious. And yet, by these people coming in and telling that story and relabeling themselves and then not moving forward out of it, I just was getting very hopeless and in despair myself as they just kept perpetuating these cycles and recreating and bringing these things back into their lives once they were free of the original issue and the original perpetrators, that cycle of violence that they got stuck in. And I realized in my role as this authority figure and this helper, and I was supposed to be modeling for them, I was just labeling them and still seeing them as sick and broken and helpless and powerless and victims. I worked in what was called victim services, and there's still a huge need for that. The work we did was good. We ran domestic violence shelters and sexual assault response. We ran emergency room response and crisis hotlines, food pantries, clothing drives, all of those things. We did a lot of good in the community, and there's still a need for that. It was just that I found that wasn't where I was called to serve anymore. And I really made my way from therapist to coach because I found I wanted to help people get out of those stories. I wanted to help people move forward. Well, then I ended up going into the energy medicine and the alternative healing and some of that, and combining it with my counseling background, also with my spiritual work, because after being a mental health therapist, I wanted to bring the spiritual piece in with the mental and emotional. And I ended up going to seminary, and I was a hospital chaplain, and I was working on the spiritual piece. So pulling all of those together and then bringing in the coaching piece. Because what I saw, even when I was working in that more alternative, complementary way, what I thought was an advanced and more conscious and more evolved way, Still, people would come in, they would get on my table, I would do a healing session, they would say, fix whatever this is, and they would feel better because it works. Energy works. But then they would get off the table and they would go on, and then they would be back when they were in crisis again, because the minute they walked out my door, that energy would work for about 72 hours. And then they're back in their toxic relationships, their toxic patterns, they're back in their old energies, they're back in those ways, and the energy responds to you and the energy that you're running and who you're being and what you're doing and what you're having. That's when I started seeing that I was coaching people on the table and I was saying the same thing over and over again. That's why I want you to realize you are a powerful creator and you want to learn how to take control of your energy. I identified 9 universal guiding principles that have become the guiding principles of my life and also now of my business and when I'm working with my clients and students. Today, I'm going to share with you this series of principles that govern my life because these are the basic principles that came through to me when I was shifting from why am I creating what I don't want to look, I am creating more and more of what I do want. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to write these down. I have a free gift for you that's going to be really simple and easy for you to get in just a minute. So I'll tell you about that. I want you to listen. This is going to be an active exercise. Notice as I read each one, which ones speak to you, which ones cause you to react, possibly in a negative or disbelieving way, and which ones are you neutral about at this time? If you don't agree with something I say, what do you currently believe instead? I'm going to read each one, and I want you to just notice what comes up for you. Because where there is a charge, there is gold to mine. And I'm going to give you a little homework. Once you go and get the gift that I have for you, where you're going to get these for yourself, you can read through them. And this will shift and change over time. So you can do this more than once. These are energetic, universal guiding principles. And when I say them, you're either going to be neutral or in agreement or in disagreement. Now, I want you to notice the difference when you're just in disagreement or you say, I don't know if I believe that, versus when you say, no, that's not true. That can't be true. She's wrong, or whatever reaction. If you have a reaction to me or to what I'm saying, that is a charge. That means there is gold for you to mine. Something is charging you and you're not neutral. I'm going to read now these 9 universal guiding principles. Energy flows where attention goes. What we resist persists. Pay close attention to what you are focusing on. What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? How much time are you spending focusing on what you want? And how much time are you spending focusing on what you don't want? Next, everything counts. Everything matters. A choice point exists in every moment. Your life is shaped by the series of choices you make along the way. Become more conscious about the choices presented to you. Become more conscious of your ability to choose. This requires a shift in perspective from victim to creator. This requires taking complete responsibility for all of it. Next, everything is energy. You are an energetic being in energetic exchange with the universe and everyone and everything in it. Learn about your own universal energy, YOU energy, your own universal energy, and how to use it to heal yourself and create your extraordinary life. Learn to work with this. everything that shows up in your life is there for a reason. You can learn to interpret this, recognize it, heal and clear it, and create life your way. Next, when we begin to dream big dreams, to set intentions and goals for ourselves, when we begin to strive for a more extraordinary life, everything that is not in alignment with that rises up to be healed or transformed. I call that your stuff coming up. When you step into your intentions, dreams, and goals, your stuff is going to come up. You can choose to heal and clear this so that you can move forward and step out of mediocrity into your most extraordinary expression and experience. Next, learn to leave the hows to the universe. Get to the essence of what you want. Dream big. See it. Feel it. Live it. Love it. Be it. Don't waste your time asking how. How could this possibly happen for me? Don't let your logical mind take over and try to figure it all out. That will take you right into stories of limitation, scarcity, and lack. The universe can create miracles when we move out of the way. Next, get out of your head and get out of your stories. We all have created stories we tell others and ourselves that define who we are and what our lives are about. These stories have power over us. They are highly charged with words and emotions. We can become trapped within our stories. Start recognizing what stories you're telling, then stop telling your stories. Next, the law of attraction is always on. It always exists, whether you believe in it or not, whether you are actively working with it or not. It is not something you can spend time on here and there and get consistent results. A common misperception I see people making is that they set aside time to meditate or journal or say their affirmations or attend a workshop, and then they step right back into living their life with their limiting beliefs, bad habits, and unhealthy patterns and toxic emotions driving their bus. And then they wonder why the law of attraction doesn't work. There's some food for thought. I have a few more for you when we come right back. Michelle Barr, your Sacred Business Success Coach on OMTimes Radio Network.
The future of internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hi, I'm Katrina Kavanagh, host of the I Am Wisdom radio show. I Am Wisdom is about the connection between mind work and energy work, spirituality, and living a wonderful life. Looking forward to sharing each Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with you.
Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hello, welcome back. This is Michelle Barr, your Sacred Business Success Coach with Sacred Business Success, my show on OMTimes Radio Network. We've been talking about the 9 universal guiding principles, and we have 2 more. So settle back in and let's talk about those. Next, once you get into the flow, don't stop. Act, assess, and adjust. Keep going. So many people stop just short of acting. They hesitate, and then they miss the moment of the energy that has stepped in to meet them. You can learn to stay connected to source creator energy and to receive inspired actions. Then it's still up to you to act. Next, before the doing comes the being. This one is counterintuitive to a lot of people when they first start working with it. Many people come for help and they say, "Tell me what to do and I'll do it if you can guarantee that I'll get these results." They say that when they have something, then they will do something that will allow them to be something. It doesn't work that way. You have to be the thing you want to be first. You have to do the things that people like that would do. And then you will have what people like that have. We call this the be, do, have. That's your 9 universal guiding principles. I have been living my life and using these in my life and my work. For the past several years now, I started learning them when I turned my life into an experiment for the law of attraction in 2003 because I woke up and I said, "What have I created? Why am I creating what I don't want? And I want a different life." So everything I share with you, I have put into practice in my life extensively. And now I've spent the past quite a few years working with my clients and students. So I have their stories and their testimonials and their life experiences as well. These principles, once applied, become more than a way of doing things. They become a way of living and a way of being. And that's my hope for you. I told you I have a gift for you. I had last summer my daughter create a poster with the 9 universal guiding principles on them. And you can get that poster for free at www.9universalguidingprinciples.com. You can use the number 9 or you can spell it out, the word 9. 9universalguidingprinciples.com. Go and get that poster. You can print it out. People have been loving it. Hang it up in your space. Do the homework that I gave you. Really pay attention to these and watch as they start shaping your life and shaping your reality. Start working with them. This has changed my entire life and everything in it. It is the way I do my work and the way I live my life now. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about do the energetic work first. The more you learn to work with the energy of the creative process and the energy of you, your own universal energy, the less action you are required to engage in. You begin to attract to you everything you need. Things begin to come together more easily and effortlessly in a way that you know is coming from the universe. Right now, in this moment, what is the most important thing you need to do? This is a big one. I had to learn it and I had to do it. Right now, in this moment, what is the most important thing you need to do? The answer is show up. Show up. This is key. Show up now and in every moment, a ready and willing partner with the universe, excited to co-create. Show up and trust that you already have everything you need. Show up for yourself now. I want you to be excited about your journey. You notice I didn't say get excited, I said be excited. Your journey is now and always. You are on it. You always have been. We need to stop holding the energy of gonna and getting to something. I always found it really interesting once I changed my life when people would say, oh, I think I've gone off my path or I've gone off my journey. No, you're always on it. You're creating it in every moment. And here's a secret, and this is a big one. There's no failure. There are no mistakes. The more you begin to consciously create, the more you learn to act, assess, and adjust. And the more you learn to make course corrections that save you a lot of time and energy and save you a lot of pain. Pain happens. Suffering is optional. That goes back to the stories that you choose to tell. Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. I love this. It has stuck with me. You can walk through life engaged in your own process. You can become a conscious creator manifesting everyday miracles. I know because I live that. I see the truth that lives within you. I hold the grandest vision of the greatest version of you. I see your gifts. That's a big part of my gift. It's why I do now what I'm made to do. I also see how you're holding yourself back. And now is always the time, the perfect time to create your extraordinary life, to transcend self-imposed limits and break free from miscreating unconsciously, to live your extraordinary and not live your wounding. And you know what? You have everything inside of you in this moment that you need. There are no failures. There are no mistakes. You're on your path always, and this is your journey. You get to choose what step you will take next. Your whole life is waiting. My whole life was waiting for me, a life I only dreamed of that now I get to live every day. You really want to ask yourself then, what are you waiting for? I have that gift for you, the 9 universal guiding principles that I made into the poster. You can download to your computer or print out and hang in your work or living space as a daily reminder and reflection. And you can get that at 9universalguidingprinciples.com. I'd love for you to connect with me on Facebook. I'd love for you to come over to my website at fromcallingtocash.com. Get those free gifts, that free training video, the free 7-day business building email course. Start taking some steps. Get into action. You will start getting results. Start looking at where you are in that continuum. It's a process. All of a sudden you notice, ooh, I'm creating what I don't want. The first step is saying, actually, I am creating what I don't want. And then deciding to consciously create something else. Use the tool I give you where you set a powerful intention and you start looking for opportunities and you take action. All these things work together so you can go back and get previous shows. Every week I build on this for you. Every week you have takeaways. That is my intention. I want to make you think. I want to open you up. I want to shift your energy. I want to invite you to shift your perception, and then I want to give you powerfully practical and spiritually rich tools for your transformation that you can use in your own life. So take the ones that really work for you, that you really love, and use them over and over again. Add them to your spiritual toolbox. This is all about you going back right now and getting even clearer. When you find you're creating something you don't want, go back to your touchstone. I always tell you, your vision is your touchstone. You go back and you say, is this part of my vision? Is this moving me toward what I want or away from what I want? You create a vision. Create a vision of what you want your life to be like. Then you will create the business that supports and sustains that. And that's the alchemy of conscious business that we talk about here. That's why I don't just call my show and my work business success. Because I've had business success. I know people who've had business success. For me, it had to be sacred success. It had to be sacred business success. I have to be living on purpose with meaning. So it was much more than that. And I invite you to start dreaming bigger again, to start dreaming about what you want, to remember what I told you at the beginning of the hour, at the beginning of this show. What dream are you barely daring to dream that you could have in 18 months? You could have in less than 2 years. That's what happened to me. And then I dreamed a bigger dream. And starting the end of last year, as I moved into this year, I've been dreaming a new and bigger dream. And it's already coming true. Last week, I was not here with you because I was in Africa on a business and personal journey. And I'm going to tell you more about all of that next week. Thank you for spending your hour with me. This is Michelle Barr, OMTimes Radio Network, and I can't wait to talk to you again next week. Thank you and have a great day.